This might be a baby redwood. Look how small this thing is. How long do you think since this thing sprouted? It's like a day or two old. This thing is gonna grow up to be big. You know what? You're gonna grow up and you're gonna be just as big as everybody else. Just give it a couple thousand years. You will be great.
Elisa and I have been dating for 10 years.
That's right. And to celebrate, we rented a camper van and decided to take a road trip down the beautiful Oregon coast.
And now we finally arrived at the Ancient Redwood Forests.
We made it to the Redwoods!
We're in the Redwoods now. This is crazy.
This is so dope.
This place is really amazing. Like, really, seriously, the first thing that hits you is how old it is. This place is ancient.
You can seriously feel it the second you step here, and it's dense. It is so dense, it makes you really feel like a freaking Tyrannosaurus Rex is gonna come running through these trees, yeah. Jurassic Park style.
That's right, and what's crazy about that, the reason it feels that way is because these coastal redwoods here that we're walking through, evidence suggests that they've been around for 65 million years.
Million years!
That was around the end of the Cretaceous period, and dinosaurs were for sure rocking around then.
Oh yeah, pterodactyls all over the place.
So that means that these guys have survived that crazy impact, that sulfur explosion, and the Ice Age.
Wow.
Well, I mean, they survived 65 million years, so they definitely survived just more than the Ice Age. That kind of really goes to show the resilience of the redwoods and of this whole forest, because this forest is a crazy, dense, dynamic ecosystem.
Yeah.
Like, there's stuff going on the floor, below the ground that you're never gonna see. We have tons of new little baby ferns sprouting up and growing. There are baby redwoods all over the place.
Honestly though, like seeing an old freaking tree next to like the little baby sprouts is so cool, because it's just a cycle. It's just gonna keep doing that.
That's right.
For as long as there's space on the forest floor, it's gonna keep happening.
And the way that these things have survived is such a crazy story of endurance and survival. Like, let's see, let me find a tree and let me show you an example of this. Okay, so we found a really great example here. This is a bit older of a tree, and you can really see how thick this bark is. It grows out in these layers, and so this is one of the ways that these trees in this forest in general have survived for so long. This bark is extraordinarily fire resistant, and it builds out, and on older trees, this stuff can get up to like a foot thick. So it's nothing but a foot of this super dense bark until you actually get to the wood. So you'll see on some fire damaged trees that it's a lot smoother, and a lot of this bark has been burnt away, and it's a lot different than this crazy jagged bark here. So when you see a redwood tree that's a little bit smoother and doesn't have this crazy jagged bark, that tells you a story that this is a tree that survived a wildfire. This is a baby redwood. This still has incredibly soft bark. So it's not until they grow a lot older that they really get that thick, fire-resistant bark. So it's pretty crazy, because when fires roll through here, it will take out these younger redwood trees, but the older, more established ones will remain through fire after fire. This is an example of a redwood that didn't quite make it. So redwoods aren't infinitely resistant. Fire tore through here and it definitely will take down a lot of redwoods with it. But it's crazy though. So when this happened, whenever this fire came through, this redwood sprouted new sprouts. So when they die or when they're about to die, they sprout a bunch of new sprouts and send them out so that their genes can live on and so that new redwoods can come up and start replenishing the forests. It's a really incredible way that these things continue on through the eons. And so this must be one of the sprouts that came from this old dead tree.
There we go.
Oh.
I gotta talk myself through.
Yeah, me too.
You're welcome. It's been so amazing driving down Highway 101, just watching the coastline evolve from these crazy sand dunes to land bridges, and now here with these staggering golden cliffs. I sometimes forget how beautiful our country can be. This is not one of those times. This is the shot that you just decided to
ruin.
Brett.
Damn it.
Good thing there's millions of rocks.
Okay, yeah.
This is what the sushi chefs do. I've seen it done many times before, so my technique is flawless. Fight me.
Meal in the redwoods. Got some nice hot coffee.
Can't beat it.
Fog is something that we all experience. You wouldn't really realize how incredibly interesting it is, especially here in the redwoods. It's unbelievably important. Like, it's one of the most important things for these trees, in fact. They are so tall that they can't pull the water up because they're fighting gravity for 300 feet, like way up in the air. So they don't have the strength to pull water all the way up into the air like that. So they've found these really ingenious solutions, and fog is probably the biggest one. fog rolls in and it condenses into dew on the leaves and on the bark. And the leaves are actually able to absorb this water through osmosis and just like suck it all in and take it for themselves. The bark can actually do the same thing. So the tree is actually able to just like absorb a bunch of water, and then it's able to use that at the tops of the trees. Without that, the redwoods wouldn't nearly be able to grow as tall as they are.
Okay, bye. Living in the Pacific Northwest, there's trees everywhere. So coming here and seeing like just the scale difference is like, whoa.
It's monumental.
I'm shocked at how huge these things are. Like all of the nature documentaries we've ever watched
Did not prepared us.
No, the Wikipedia searches did not prepare us. I can't believe it. Like everywhere you turn and every single tree is different.
You really get this sense of serenity. It's so quiet.
Yeah, just stop for a second. You just feel so small.
Yeah. So yeah, one of the reasons that it's so spiritual, I think, is because it really is so quiet. Even if you're not from a big city, like this is still going to be really, really quiet. Like you can still hear me talking right now.
I'm right next to you. Let's try something farther away.
Okay.
Can you hear me? This entire trip, I have been checking out these cute little clovers growing all over the ground. I can't remember what they're called. It's like sorrel something. We'll put a little thing on the bottom that shows what they are. This entire time, I didn't even realize until just now, we're leaving tomorrow, they are like this fuchsia kind of like hot pink magenta color underneath. Just goes to show you, the more time you spend in a place, the more you observe, the more you find out. So, the more you know.
So this is really exciting. We just found a fairy ring. That thing right behind me, it's called a fairy ring because they grow in such a beautiful circle. For a long time, people didn't know why that was. So when these trees die, they send out sprouts from their bark and they fall down evenly, usually around the base of the tree. So this tree behind me used to be massive, and at some point a fire rolled through here and that was it for that tree. But it sent out these sprouts, and now there's this magnificent fairy ring right there, and we get to walk past it, we get to enjoy it, and so do you. Actually, is that another fairy ring right there? people.
That was absolutely insane. I can't believe we got to take this trip down here. I love this place, but let's get real. Only 5% of the redwoods remain since European colonizers came to North America.
Yeah.
That's shocking. It's scary.
It really is, yeah. And as climate change continues to shape the world around us, things are going to keep changing for the worse. As sea temperatures rise, that will mean that the ocean air also rises. And without cold ocean air coming in to meet the hot California air, fog won't form, and these trees won't be able to grow to the heights that they can grow. They won't be able to grow as strong as they're able to grow. As summers are longer and hotter, that'll dry out everything, and forest fires will become more frequent. Although these are resilient to forest fires, more frequent forest fires will take down any baby redwoods and won't allow them to establish themselves and grow to a point where they can actually resist fire.
All that being said, these forests are incredibly resilient, and there's plenty of things that we can all do actively every day to have a huge impact and help. One way is to have a more plant-based diet. You don't have to go vegan, but even just trying to reduce that meat consumption, have a plant-based meal once a day, once a week, can have a great impact.
And when you do eat meat, buy sustainable meat.
Reduce or remove any products that may contain palm oil, because palm oil is one of the leading causes of deforestation.
You can also contact your local power provider and switch to any clean energy option.
Finally, vote for candidates who accept and acknowledge human-caused climate change.
You don't have to vote Democrat, you don't have to vote Republican, just vote for somebody who accepts science for what it is. Reducing emissions made by large companies can also have a huge impact, so voting with your ballot and voting with your wallet can be a very powerful thing. If you're still feeling helpless and you're not living paycheck to paycheck, there's actually still even more that you can do. You can donate to highly rated nonprofits like the Wildlife Conservation Society.
Or the International Fund for Animal Welfare.
WWF is another really good one. So there's plenty that we can still do. So together we can, I know that you hear this all the time. I hear this all the time, but really, like, we can, through our own actions, have an impact and stabilize global climate to a sustainable level where we can all live. These guys can all live, and we can all enjoy and breathe air well and not have to worry about anything.
We can do it.
Maybe someday. Let's do it.
All right, 10-year anniversary. Celebrating with a little Prosecco.
Yeah! All right, let's do this.
Oh God, you just twisted?
I think so. Oh, so anticlimactic.
We were hoping for some champagne pops.
Oh, we didn't get to pop champagne. They could have just put a normal cap on it, but they had to put this shit on it to fake us out. This is just a normal twist cap.
This sucks. Cheers.
Oh, cheers, babe.
Happy 10-year. I love you.